wait a few more minutes for the individuals who are trying to get into the meeting to get in, and then we'll start off. So we'll start in a couple minutes. Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, July the 16th, 2024, and the time is approximately 6:32 p.m. My name is Michael Paylor, designee at this hearing for Montgomery County Department of Transportation, or MCDOT. Here with me this evening to conduct this public meeting or public hearing is Joe Tamana, who is the acting chief of the Division of Transportation Engineering. That's DTE as an acronym for MCDOT. Mr. Dan Sheridan, chief of planning and design with DTE, Ms. Rebecca Park, Transportation Unit Manager of DTE, and Mr. Kevin Min, Project Manager of DTE, as well as Angel Ching, who is the host of this evening's meeting. Mr. Tamana will provide the information and details regarding this project. Again, thank you for joining us on this virtual platform. Tonight's hearing is being recorded. A link to the recording will be posted on the Bethesda Bikeway and Pedestrians Facilities webpage after 5 p.m. tomorrow, July 17th, 2024. Also, please note that your video camera is turned off by default this evening. To reduce the bandwidth of the meeting and maximize technical efficiency, we request that you please do not turn your video camera on during this hearing. Likewise, your microphones have been muted. Once the testimony portion of this hearing begins, those who have signed up to testify will be called on and unmuted when it's their turn to speak. If you have not signed up in advance to testify but wish to do so, please raise your hand by clicking on the reactions at the bottom of your screen and then click Raise Hand. If you're joining us via telephone only, you may raise your hand by pressing *9 on your telephone keypad. Please wait until the testimony portion of this hearing to raise your hand. You may raise your hand at any time during that testimony portion. We will call on you to provide your oral testimony and unmute your microphone when it is your turn to speak. Written testimony and comments may be submitted as well and will be considered with the same weight as oral testimony. Following the testimony portion of this hearing, we will hold a question and answer session. You may also raise your hand to ask a question, or you're welcomed to type your question in the chat, the icon for which is at the bottom of your screen. Tonight's hearing is being held pursuant to Section 4953 of Montgomery County Code, and the purpose of the public hearing is to obtain testimony which may influence the final design of this project. Public comment should be focused entirely on the project, which is the topic of discussion. All interested persons are entitled to be heard at this meeting. However, the testimony portion of this hearing is not a forum for dialogue, questions and answers, or cross-examination. Please direct your remarks to the Capitol Crescent Surface Trail Phase 2 project that is the subject of this hearing. If comments stray into areas unrelated to this project, I will ask that you refocus your comments to the subject project. Following the conclusion of this public hearing, the public record will remain open for 4 weeks to allow any person who is unable to attend this hearing an opportunity to have their comments included in the public record and be fully considered. The official closing date by which all comments and testimony may be received or must be received is Friday, August 16th, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. Submissions may be emailed or sent via regular mail and must be received or postmarked by the close of the hearing record. Please be sure to provide your name and property address on your submission. Remember, written submissions will be considered with the same weight as oral testimony. Submissions should be sent to Mr. Min, whose contact information is posted at the top of this evening's chat, as well as is on your screen. After the hearing is concluded and the record is officially closed, I, as the hearing officer, will review and weigh all the information submitted into the public record and make a recommendation to the Director of the Department of Transportation, Mr. Christopher Conklin, for his decision regarding the final design of this project. And now, to discuss the Capitol Crescent Surface Trail Phase 2 project, I give you Mr. Joe Tamano.
Good evening, Mr. Paylor, ladies and gentlemen. The subject of this evening's public hearing is to consider the design for the construction of a surface trail connection between the existing bike lanes on Bethesda Avenue, west of Wisconsin Avenue, and the future Purple Line Tunnel. For your convenience, we have posted displays that help visually describe this project. The displays will also be posted on the website, the project website, by 5 p.m. tomorrow, July 17th, 2024. Display A. So display A is an aerial project vicinity map of the Capitol Crescent Surface Trail. The proposed trail is located along the border between Bethesda and Chevy Chase. 47th Street is currently owned by the town of Chevy Chase, while the majority of Willow Lane and Elm Street are within the county's jurisdiction. The trail connects the existing Capitol Crescent Trail west of MD 355 or Wisconsin Avenue to the future Capitol Crescent Trail adjacent to the Purple Line, which will extend to the Silver Spring Metro Station in downtown Silver Spring. Move to display B. Display B shows the overall plan of Phase 2 of the surface trail. The project provides a new proposed trail connecting the existing Phase 1 of the surface trail along Willow Lane, continuing along the east side of 47th Street before it connects to Elm Street Park. Display B1, here we see a closer view of the planned trail. The portion of the trail along Willow Lane begins at the end of the existing Capitol Crescent Surface Trail Phase 1 and spans approximately 200 feet before continuing on 47th Street. The 10-foot wide bike lane will be separated from vehicular traffic by a 6-foot wide landscape buffer. The bike lane will be adjacent to the existing 5-foot sidewalk. Display B2. This display shows the portion of the trail along 47th Street. This section of the trail is 10 feet wide and approximately 380 feet long, with a buffer of at least 8 feet between active vehicle traffic and cyclists/pedestrians. The buffer will consist of a combination of a concrete apron, a loading or unloading zone, and landscaping, after which the trail will redirect through the outer edge of the Elm Street Park redevelopment and join the trail along the Purple Line. Display C1. This display shows the cross-section view of the trail along Willow Lane. The trail will maintain the separated sidewalk from the Capitol Crescent Surface Trail before connecting to the trail along 47th Street. Display C2. This display shows a cross-section view of the trail continuing along 47th Street before tying into the path at Elm Street Park. Pedestrians and cyclists will share the path and mix along this portion of the trail. The truck apron and landscaping will provide a wide buffer separating cyclists and pedestrians from vehicular traffic. The project justification. This trail will be part of a larger system to enable non-motorized traffic in the Washington, D.C. region. The trail will connect to the existing Capitol Crescent Trail from Bethesda to Georgetown, the Metropolitan Branch Trail from Silver Spring to Union Station, and the Rock Creek Bike Trail from northern Montgomery County to Georgetown. The trail will serve pedestrians, bicyclists, joggers, and skaters, and will be compliant with the Americans with Disability Act of 1990. The Bethesda CBD Sector Plan, the Bethesda Downtown Sector Plan, updated in 2017, and the Purple Line Functional Master Plan, completed in 2010. The project will help the county achieve its Vision Zero goals to reduce deaths and serious injuries on county roadways to zero. Cost and assessments. The total cost of this project is currently estimated at $2.6 million, including engineering, land acquisition, site improvements, utilities, and construction. There are no properties which are considered to be specifically benefited by the proposed improvement. Therefore, no properties are expected to be assessed. Exhibits. As previously discussed, several exhibits are incorporated into the public record binder for your information and consideration. The exhibits include: 1. The Office of Management and Budget Capitol Crescent Surface Trail PDF P501316. 2. Capitol Crescent Surface Trail Phase 2 70% Transportation Design Plans. 3. The Washington Times newspaper and online advertisement proof dated June 26, 2024, published on July 2nd and July 9th, 2024. Montgomery County News release dated July 3rd, 2024, and the Go Montgomery Transportation newsletter circulated on July 11th, 2024, all advertising this hearing. 4. List of attendees to be added following this hearing.
Excuse me, Joes, I apologize. Somebody on our team either needs to remove
shut up, Sterling Finley.
Sterling Finley from the job, from the call, or do something. Because even his mute feature isn't working regularly, or her. I don't know what it is, but we need to either remove them if there's another interruption. I'm going to remove them from the call. So just make sure everybody knows that. Joes, I apologize for interrupting you, sir.
No problem. In just a second here. Okay. All right. And the fifth item is the hearing transcript and presentation which will also be added following this hearing. Project-related data and files can be downloaded from the project website. Alternatively, you may contact Mr. Kevin Min to request digital copies of the project files at kevin.min@montgomerycountymd.gov. The file will continue to be available to the public until the record for this public hearing is officially closed. As previously stated, here with us this evening is Dan Sheridan, Chief of the Planning and Design Section, Rebecca Park, Transportation Unit Manager, and Kevin Min, Project Manager for the Capitol Crescent Surface Trail Phase 2. In addition, Andrew Conklin from the engineering consulting firm WRA and Jameson Keaton from the sub-consultant firm Tool Design are also present at this hearing. We will be available after the hearing to answer any questions regarding the design aspects of this project. And now I'll turn things back over to you, Mr. Paler.
Thank you, Mr. Tamana. And again, Mr. Tamana and those on the call, I apologize for the disruption that we experienced recently. We will now hear testimony from those in attendance who wish to testify, and we'll begin with those who signed up to testify when registering to attend the meeting. Those who have not signed up to testify at this hearing will have the opportunity to do so by clicking on the reactions icon at the bottom of your screen and then clicking raise hand. Once given speaking rights, please clearly provide your name and address for the record prior to beginning your testimony. And so, right. Angel, you got that, Angel?
Yeah, I got it. So I have a list of five people who have signed up to testify tonight. The first one is Larry Solar. Larry, are you here? It doesn't seem like Larry is online right now, so we'll go to the next person. Is Tatiana Bendek.
Hi, yes, I don't have anything to add right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana.
And the next person is Andrew Rashid.
Thank you. I don't have anything to add right now either. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
And then next is Irene Lane.
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful, thank you. My name is Irene Lane. I'm the mayor of the town of Chevy Chase. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments on the proposed Capitol Crescent Surface Trail CCST Phase 2 project this evening. As I mentioned, I am the mayor of the town of Chevy Chase, in which a portion of the proposed shared use path will be located. As you're aware, prior to the CCST's closure in September of 2017, the trail was one of the most heavily used in the United States, serving more than 1 million walkers, joggers, bikers, skateboarders, and rollerbladers each year. Since 2017, Bethesda has experienced rapid growth, and design plans are now well advanced for the Bethesda Market Park, as well as a new and enlarged, much busier Farm Women's Market, which will border Willow Lane. The town of Chevy Chase is very pleased that this project is moving forward. However, we do have concerns about how pedestrian, bicyclist, and motorist interactions within this tight space of one block will be minimized and managed. As currently designed, the CCS2 project will cross multiple access points for cars and pedestrians, including children and their caretakers from nearby daycare centers or from the future Bethesda Market Park, who aim to access the Elm Street Park playground. While we agree with this initiative, the initiative to promote enhanced recreational opportunities, there are critical safety considerations that need to be addressed in this current design. To mitigate potential hazards, we propose creating an alternate pathway specifically for pedestrians going between Bethesda Market Park and the Elm Street Playground, allowing parents and children to avoid using the main surface trail. This pathway would ensure that young children are not exposed to the higher speed bicycle traffic on the main trail and significantly reduce the risk of accidents. To further enhance safety, we recommend the installation of raised, signalized, or otherwise protected crosswalks at the points where the trail intersect with roadways, specifically the two crosswalks at Willow Lane and the crosswalk at Elm Street. These measures would slow down both vehicle and bicycle traffic at these critical junctures, providing a safer crossing for pedestrians. By implementing these changes, we hope to create a safer, more user-friendly environment for all trail users while maintaining the intended recreational benefits of the trail. Thank you for considering these suggestions, and we look forward to seeing the next iteration of design plans that incorporate these safety enhancements.
Thank you, Irene.
All right, next we have Sterling Finley. Sterling Finley, you can unmute yourself. Okay. I guess we can come back to this. And then next, that's all I have for the for the ones who have signed up before the meeting. And we can go ahead with the ones who would like to testify now, who have raised their hand. So the first one and the on the list is Anna Irwin.
Hi, thank you. I have a question, actually. Did you want to reserve those for the end?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. I'll put my hand down then. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. And then I see another hand, Sterling Finley. You can unmute yourself when you're ready. Seems like we're experiencing some technical difficulty for Sterling Finley. And I don't see anyone else who has raised their hand.
Yeah, thank you. I'll extend an offer for anyone else who would like to testify just for the next 30 seconds, and that'll include Mr. Finley, who may be experiencing some technical difficulties, to give him a moment. And while we're waiting for anyone to offer their testimony, remember that a written submission bears the same equal weight as the oral testimony. So if you decide not to testify orally tonight, you may submit your written comments. So we'll give this another few moments, and then we'll advance to our next portion of the hearing. Okay, that concludes the speakers who have expressed an interest in testifying tonight, and those who have not signed up who wish to testify. And we appreciate that everyone who wishes to speak has had the opportunity to do so. This concludes the oral testimony portion of the public hearing. And now we'll advance to the question and answer session. So we ask that you would please click the reactions and raise hand icons to raise your hand if you wish to ask a question. And certainly you are welcome to type your question into the chat box below.
All right, first we have Sterling Finley. You can unmute yourself to ask your questions.
I think we're going to have to move past that individual.
All right. While we're waiting for Sterling Finley to unmute himself, we can move to Anna Irwin.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Anna Irwin, and I'm here on behalf of Bethesda Bike Now. Thank you for having this hearing tonight, and I wanted to thank the mayor of Chevy Chase. I think that her comments were, we support her comments. My question for the group is on the timing of the surface trail. It's been since 2017, and the surface trail, neither one of the two routes has actually been completed. And I wondered if there was a timeline specifically on the completion of Montgomery Avenue to Pearl, that last block, or the stretch from on Woodmont from Old Georgetown down to where the trail actually begins. That's my question.
Thank you. So the last section of Montgomery Avenue on-road bike lanes from, I think it's Waverly to Pearl, I believe is going to be in design this year. And so about a year before the construction would begin on that. And then Woodmont, what we are calling Woodmont Phase 2, is also in design right now and would be construction in about a year as well.
Got it. And then when the construction starts, is that a quick construction period, or how long do you think construction will be once it starts?
Yeah, certainly on the Montgomery Lane, I would estimate a few months, and it might be a little bit longer on Woodmont, but less than a year to complete.
Okay, great. I wanted to thank you. The parts that are completed are fantastic. It's just that they don't connect from point A to point B, and we need either one of those two, and then we can finally start using them. So thank you for rushing that. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And sorry, can I ask one other question just while I have you? The tunnel, is the tunnel still at least in discussions for in addition to the surface trail?
So the tunnel project has been, two things happened to it. It was formerly combined with the Capitol Crescent surface trail along the Purple Line, and it's been pulled out to its own, what we call PDF. So it's a standalone project now. But due to the cost, all of the funding has been moved to beyond 6 years. The capital budget is done in every 2 years, but it's for a 6-year period. So all of the money for the tunnel is beyond 6 years.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
The next person who has their hands raised is Sterling Finley. Again, I ask that you unmute yourself if you would like to ask a question.
Yeah, Angel, I think we just have to move past this.
Okay.
I think there's something going on there that.
Noted. There's a question in the chat from Cordell Poe. Could you please touch on a bit more what the currently plans are specifically for the intersection of Willow Lane and 47th Street? Crosswalks, pavement, markings, etc. Thank you.
I can take this one. This is Jameson from Tool Design. So at that intersection, we have.
Can you pull off that slide?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Thanks. There it is.
So in the existing condition, there's already crosswalks there. We are providing curb extensions. So headed from Wisconsin along Willow towards the intersection. There's the striping on the top side there that kind of narrows down the roadway width and just kind of makes this corridor feel a little bit more tighter because we know there's going to be a lot of pedestrians and bicyclists in the area. Adjacent to that, that sort of green strip is going to be a buffer, 6 feet wide. That provides the distance between the motorist and the adjacent bicyclists. And then next to the separated bike path, kind of moving down the page there, there's a sidewalk. So all those modes are separated at that point along Willow Lane. There's high visibility crosswalks there. I think they're all either 10 feet wide. Maybe the one across the Women's Farm Market is about 8 feet wide, it looks like. And that's a stop controlled intersection, so always stop there. And then the green markings that you see are typically what we use for that's a bike lane crossing, and we use those where there's a conflict either with like a side road or a driveway in some cases. And so those are just kind of typically used there. They provide just more visibility to where a potential crossing or potential conflict would be for motorists, and keep it kind of clear where bikes should be within the space. And that's basically it of what we're looking at in the image. Does that answer the question?
Well, I think we can also add about the truck apron and the narrowing of 47th Street as well. 47th Street is one-way northbound. It'll still be one-way northbound, but it'll be narrowed down to a 12-foot wide lane. And it's going to have a concrete buffer that will allow larger delivery trucks to make that turn. So that's another feature of the intersection.
All right. I don't believe there's any additional questions in the chat currently. Oh, it's like there's another one. All right. The question is, I expect there will be temporary parking, excuse me, in the hash park marked space along the north side of Willow Lane. What are your expectations?
I can take this one too. Yeah, so we don't anticipate parking in that area. And I think we would probably, moving forward, supplement this with some flex posts there in addition to the striping. There's already signage there that indicates people can't park there, but I think it could be something to consider to supplement that with flex posts to make sure that vehicles can't get in there. I mean, the point being to not block any kind of sight distances or obstructions so that pedestrians are clearly visible at the intersection where they're crossing.
Thank you, Jameson.
I can also add that the garage, either lot 24 or the garage that will be built there underground, will be available for short-term parking too. So if there are any short-term parking needs, rather than have that on street, it might be easier to redirect those into the garage or into the lot.
Thank you, Jose. I have another question in the chat. Is it possible to plant some trees for shade along the grassy buffer? Daniel Jameson?
Yes, so I don't know if we have that detail yet, but a grass buffer that is as wide as 6 feet can support trees. So we look at that. And then also, we also are careful about where placements are. So we sometimes we don't want to put trees where we'll be blocking sight lines. So we'll have to consider that as well. But yes, the green buffers will definitely get street trees where possible, according to county standards. I think they go every 30 to 50 feet. So yes.
And Dan, just to add to that, we will have overhead utilities along 47th Street, so we have to be careful about what we plant under the power lines, the overhead utilities there. But there is trees proposed between the surface trail and the park, along that park buffer. So there are trees in this image to the right of the CCST, along the park boundary there.
Yes. So every opportunity we can, we plant street trees. As Andrew mentioned, there might be some overhead utilities, so we have minor trees that don't grow up into the, like an oak or something like that. It'd be a minor tree that only grows 30 feet tall, so they don't grow up into the power lines and have to get cut back. So, in those are all the type of the design things that we have to determine. Again, also making sure that they're not blocking sight lines and things like that. But where there's a wide enough buffer, we will definitely look to plant as many street trees as possible.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Andrew. Michael, I don't see any additional questions in the chat, and I don't see anyone else raise their hand either.
Grand. Thank you so much, Angel. So just to supplement your observations, I'll ask the question once more. Does anyone on the call have any other questions pertaining to this project? Okay, I don't see any hands going up. Seeing that all questions have been asked and answered, we will conclude this hearing. Please be reminded that we will keep the record open for 4 weeks. Comments and written testimony are due by Friday, August the 16th at 6 p.m. Additional written testimony may be submitted by email and must be received by the close of this hearing record. Submission should be sent to Mr. Kevin Min, and his email address is on the screen, or via the online comment form, a link to which is provided on the project webpage, or at this lengthy link that I'll read off, https://www.montgomerycountymaryland or montgomerycountymd.gov/dot/projects/Bethesda Bikeway Ped facilities. Wow. So thank you so much for your questions and your comments. And now this public hearing is closed.
Thank you.